It's hard to believe, but college football 26 is just a handful of months away. With over 600 hours sunk into college football 25, mostly all Dynasty and team builder, I had a decent amount of fun, but I feel like it's time to make a video on what we absolutely need to see in college football 26, plus some nice to haves. Each item I present will come with the squish meter. I will rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 sponges. The juicier the need in college football 26, the squishier the sponge. And if you like soaking it up with the sponge, hit that subscribe button down below and share the video with a homie you want to give a big smooch to. I mean, play college football 26 with. And hey, I want to hear what you want most in college football 26 down below in the comment section. Let's go. I have to address some fundamentals first. Off the rip, 10 sponges out of 10. Run and pass blocking, tweaking the assignments and the logic that goes into it. If I boot up my Kansas State Dynasty right now, the #1 team in the nation, 94 overall, with some top tier protectors on the line, high 80s and 90s just littered across the team. Not to mention guys like Jason Hawker here with platinum badges and impact beefy boys like Evan Lloyd out of Kansas. I expect top tier protection more often than not, right? Well, I'm gonna tell you that has been one of my biggest gripes since booting up the game back in July. It's not atrocious all the time, and I get plays get blown up all the time in college football, but you'll see in a drive or two that there are some wonky missed assignments that do not get picked up. That was actually okay. Just a couple more plays down the field, we had some questionable blocking scheme. Like, first of all, what is this 3-person cluster? That last one wasn't awful, but then you'll get plays like this on the edge where, what was that? Observe Exhibit C, another example here. Just what was that pickup? Kuhn standing right in front of your face, fullback just runs past him. Now, all those clips, I literally just jumped into a game and got on my first attempt of the day. There, a hole breaks free, and we're off to the races into the house. So the last thing I want to do is come off and say this is the worst thing ever. The blocking has a few tweaks to be made. I want to caveat these are the things I found on one drive right now. I've seen plenty more missed blocks and assignments on the offensive line with over 600 hours played. I'm sure you've seen them plenty as well. Happened just a little bit more than my liking for a top tier, one of the best offensive line units in the game. It's just a little immersion breaking. I'm confident that if they're in the kitchen cooking this up, college football 26 will be a lot better with just some tweaks in that department. I know I mainly just hit on run blocking, but pass protection is in line for a few tweaks, and receiver blocking as well. That's the one that usually gets more exposed more often than not. All right, y'all, hear me out. In college football 26, we need a My City like experience. And before you roast me, just hear me out. College intramurals and flag football is a big deal. Imagine dripping out your avatar, your player, whatever, and getting out there and competing in recreational modes. All right, I'm gonna scratch that half-baked idea. Let's put that on the back burner. That's not one of my serious ideas. Let's get into the actual stuff. All right, so this next one's a personal favorite. I don't see many people talking about it. I'm gonna give it 5 squish out of 10 because it's not like essential, but it'd be such a nice touch. I want to bring more attention to the Reese's Senior Bowl and East-West Shrine Bowl. As you can see here back on Twitter, this was me saying that's one of my wish list items. I was geeking out because I thought they confirmed they were in the game, but in reality they were just trolling us. All-star games are so much fun in general, and I get college football, the experience is really those developmental years, but when you get to the senior year, you're on your way out to the NFL. So it wouldn't be a key feature or a key need, but it would be so much fun either coaching it or having some of your guys you worked hard in Dynasty have a final send-off. The third thing that college football 26 must have, I'm gonna turn to Reddit for this one. Spinach Reasonable 383 coming at it with the call on stats. Easier to get stats. Specifically when he's looking at top 25 teams, he wants to know how teams get to where they are, the players, what they're doing. Big stats, dude, and I can second this. So again, I'm gonna consult the handy dandy Dynasty save. The first part of the stats revamp that I want to see is where you tab over to here, go down to Heisman Watch, and then boom, you get your top 5 Heisman candidates. You get to see their last game's performance. That's cool and all, but why can't I just click the dang dude and go into his stat sheet or season to date, or just a better UI interface in general to understand how he's stacking up against the rest. Like, why is he number one? We don't even see his votes on here. Like, these early polls, and even I think the final poll, besides when they announced like the season winner, do not do a good job painting the story of why they're a Heisman candidate. And then in general, when you tab all the way over to the stats, you get a lot of great things here you can look at for your own team, and frankly, any team for that matter. If you go all the way down to the bottom, you get conference and national stats. And then if you want to find one of your players and how they stack up with the nation, it takes a lot of digging. In general, the stats are mostly there. They're already in the game. They're in these tabs. I just think the UI, or the way they lay out the best players week by week, category leaders in like tackles, interceptions, rushing, passing, like whatever, like just getting it all on one interface, like in front of you, in like a dashboard type view would look great. 7 sponge out of 10 on the squish meter. Of course, most of my recommendations are going to be here in Dynasty. I know Road to Glory has a few as well, which I'll get to in a minute, but just keeping it here. Under the coaches tab, if you can go into your playbook and go ahead and create a custom playbook rather than just taking a pre-made, and the ability to create a custom play, which has been a feature in some other titles, I think the Dynasty community would have a great time drawing up plays, but I also think that would benefit a lot of the other modes as well. 6 sponges out of 10 on my squish meter. It's nice, not as pressing as a couple others I've talked about. All right, this next one is a long shot, and there's a very good chance it's not coming in the next iteration of the game. In fact, it's probably 99.9% not coming, but I can keep my eyes set on a future release. I want FCS teams in here. I know it's not the first person. I know I'm probably echoing a lot of your sentiment as well, but dude, I love the grind of Dynasty. Imagine taking an FCS program, grinding them out, building them up at the FCS level, and then promoting them to the FBS, and essentially doing it again all in one save file. That's a maximum 10 out of 10 sponges on my squish meter. I know it's unrealistic for this next edition, but I'm really hoping it's in the following. Some things that already are confirmed for the next edition of the game, I'll just touch on real quick, include coaches and their likeness now being added to the game. So Bill Belichick, will he be here for North Carolina? That's hard to say, because I remember in Madden, I don't think he gave him rights, or I don't know how that whole thing went down, but he was not in the game for the Patriots, so I probably expect him not to be in the game for North Carolina, but most of the other coaches will. That's a cool, neat feature. And then mascots should be there finally as well for all 134 or 136 FBS teams, with Missouri State and Delaware in the game. So a couple big ones there, 2 new teams, mascots for the remaining schools, stuff that I was hoping was in the first game here, but hey, I'll take it. Finally get Willie the Wildcat or Buster Bronco in the game. A realistic ask for me in the content I like to create is right here in the download center, and boom, it's all about Team Builder. I absolutely love Team Builder. Has a lot of potential here. Had one heck of an experience bringing the CUNA Kings and Carolina Reapers to a national championship, but I need to see the next step. On the website, when you're creating a team, a customization is very limited. I don't think you can change players, school grades, customize your stadiums, and adding a feature like Stadium Creator would do so much for me. I mean, MLB The Show has been able to do it with their Stadium Creator. I don't see why it can't be a possibility here. Even if you give us like 10 to 15 preset stadiums that then we can then tweak within the Stadium Creator, that's better than nothing. Taking the next step in customization on Team Builder is absolutely a 9 sponge out of 10 on the squish meter. We need that. All right, hear me out. This next one is going to be a big undertaking, but I want to advocate for a new mode. What mode, you may ask? I'm going to pull out of my hat from being a longtime MLB The Show player. March to October, it was a mode that allowed you to take control of any of the MLB teams, jump in at the pivotal moments, and get this experience narrative throughout the season. Within the mode, you would get to play key moments from players and get the opportunity to enhance their development. You would get the opportunity to jump into the late part of a game and close it out for the win. The more you succeeded in these moments, the more momentum you built and the better results you got from the sim. All in all, to say it's really a streamlined way to play a season and then have the option to take that further into future seasons. Now, I know most people like myself love Dynasty, but this would be like a seasoned, streamlined mode that allows you to just take over in this narrative flow, get to player lock with the players, get to jump in key moments, and have it guide you through key decisions like big recruiting decisions, roster decisions, transfer portal, as you just fully immerse into that narrative march to the national championship. Because Dynasty is an investment to sink your time into play, I think there is a real opportunity for the more casual fan here. I'm just gonna give that idea a 3 sponge out of 10 on the squish meter. It's just an idea. It's not essential for the next game, but it could appeal to some folk. And if you're watching this video in the college football offseason in March, you're probably not one of those folks that I'm talking to. You're probably hardcore college football. Now, the last couple items I want to touch on involve road to glory. These are necessities that they need to fix for 26. They made some patches throughout the year, but to be honest, I didn't touch this mode for the last, I don't know, 4 to 5 months. I just felt too funneled into this way of play without much control over the play calling, the moments and the progression through the game. I think as a quarterback, I had to like stick in there for every single play, which that can be part of the fun. But when you're already up 35-0, sometimes I just want to sim out the rest of the game. And heck, that might have already been patched. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't played in like 4 to 5 months, but there are some quality of life enhancements needed to this mode, and I didn't want to neglect it for the video. I am glad that it's confirmed high school is being added, so that's going to add a fun wrinkle to it, and I'm definitely going to jump back on in the next game. Those road to glory quality of life enhancements are darn near 10 out of 10 sponges. I think they need to happen, especially for the hardcore group that likes that mode. One last logistic to round out the video. I think roster control is a serious conversation that needs to happen. I know NIL is going to restrict you from editing any of the players, but I just want better flexibility on moving players around, playing out these ideal scenarios. I know it appeals more to the content creators, but what if I wanted to create like an all Kansas team and throw Kobe Bryant on a Kansas State? You know, you just can't do that at all. It's not easy. So I'm probably barking up the wrong tree because of NIL or however they signed their contract. That'll probably never happen, but one can hope. And with that concludes my major list of things I'd like to see in college football 26, just to improve the great foundation that they put for 25. I know I didn't cover everything, and I did that on purpose because I want to keep the conversation going down below in the comment section. So remember, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and let's continue this down below.